Right now at 11, breaking news. We are live from the scene of a Shenandoah County fire, the business affected, and how fire crews are dealing with the flames and smoke. Plus, the House votes to block President Obama's immigration policies, how a family of immigrants in the Valley is reacting, and how a Valley representative is against the president's action. And a 2-month-old baby boy is dead tonight in the Valley, where deputies are investigating.
You're watching WHSV News 3. 11 minutes of nonstop news and weather starts right now.
We do have breaking news right now. A Shenandoah County business is on fire near Edinburgh. Hi, everybody. I'm Channing Frampton in for John Rogers. And we are going to go live right now to WHSV's John Rogers. He is on the scene of this fire that we first told you about on WHSV.com. He has an update on the business affected and how fire crews are managing to get the flames out. John, what are you seeing right now?
Well, Channing, we are at Wholesome Foods. This is just outside of Edinburgh, and if you were traveling up or down Interstate 81 at any point this evening, you probably saw a huge plume of smoke. I'm going to step out of the way and just show you what we have here. Again, this business, the fire reported around 8:25 tonight. We're told everyone there, just learned that there were a couple people in the building at the time, but everybody got out safely, so some encouraging news there. One of the problems in fighting all of this has been the lack of hydrants out here along South Ox Road. So fire crews have actually been going into Edinburgh to get water off of hydrants in town, and then they're trucking it out here. So that's just one of the challenges fighting it. I talked to one of the firefighters out here, and he tells me that they're going to be out here for what he says was quite a while. They're also trying to get water out of a pond behind this building. Again, the Wholesome Foods, right on a property that pretty much backs up to Interstate 81 out in Shenandoah County. And one of the things that's been actually encouraging for firefighters out here, you see this ham and cheese sandwich. A grocery store in town actually stopped by and donated some food to help out the firefighters. So again, we will keep you up to date throughout this newscast, reporting live in the Edinburgh area. John Rogers, WHSV.
All right, thank you, John. And we do have a story posted on WHSV.com that you can read on your smartphone, tablet, or computer right now. We have a slideshow of images that were sent from the scene as the flames were burning through this building. And the latest on what we know about what happened here, you can check this out, and we'll be updating it throughout the night on WHSV.com. Now to new details on an attack plot that was prevented earlier today. A man was arrested in Ohio after he was allegedly planning to blow up the U.S. Capitol. Here's what we've confirmed so far. The arrest follows a complaint made by a law enforcement official in Ohio. The man accused is Christopher Lee Cornell. Cornell told an FBI source that he had aligned himself with the terror group ISIS. The complaint filed says he planned to set off pipe bombs in the U.S. Capitol and then shoot people as they ran out. Fortunately, the plan was only in the early stages and posed no threat to lawmakers. And following up on the Virginia State of Commonwealth address from earlier this evening, some of the major points Governor McAuliffe touched on include job creation, economic development, health care, and education. New at 11, the governor was particularly passionate about Virginia's health care in his speech.
If we're going to build a new Virginia economy, we must get those hard-working men and women the care and health care that they deserve. And the truth is, we've already paid for it. With one vote this session, we can get health care for 400,000 of our fellow Virginians, create up to 30,000 new jobs, and save our current budget $105 million.
And joining me live here in the studio is political analyst Dr. Bob Roberts from JMU. You watched that whole speech, Dr. Roberts, and we talked a little bit about the possibility of making his wish for health care reality. What's your take on his idea?
It may be a good idea, but the legislature isn't going to pass it.
Why is that?
Because Obamacare. One of the major criticisms of Obamacare has been expanding health care. Mm-hmm. Medicaid was what the Supreme Court allowed the states to decide whether they would expand it. Mm-hmm. We have 4,000 Virginians who are not eligible for Medicaid, primarily single adults who can't get Medicaid. Only adults with children can get Medicaid. And so the legislature was adamant. We almost shut down the government last year because of it, and it's not going to pass. He was able to get from the federal government permission to cover 20,000 individuals with mental illness, but that's it. There's no Medicaid coming, And unless the hospitals and health corporations demonstrate to the legislature they're going to lay off lots of people, it has no chance whatsoever.
Well, it's a really interesting take on what could be coming up for 2015, and of course we'll be keeping an eye on it. We thank you for your expertise, Dr. Roberts. Thanks for coming in. And you can read the full transcript of the governor's speech on our web channel, WHSV.com. And new tonight, lawmakers from around the Commonwealth came together today for the 2015 General Assembly session. One issue already getting a lot of attention is ways to prevent sexual assault on college campuses. Colleen Quigley has how they're working on how crimes on campus are reported.
After a fall semester at the University of Virginia where the danger of sexual assault was pushed front and center, Virginia lawmakers say it's time to do something about it.
Forget about the Rolling Stone story. It's a real issue.
Preventing sexual assault on college campuses is an issue many schools across the Commonwealth are facing. Now legislators across both sides of the aisle say part of the problem is how assaults are reported. Democratic State Senator Creed Deed says he plans to propose legislation putting investigating crimes in the hands of authorities.
Colleges should not be in the business of investigating crime. They should be in the business of educating young people. So I've got some ideas that I want to throw out there that are going to make sure that we move in that direction.
A move already supported by Delegate Eileen Cornfiller, who proposed a bill of her own Tuesday with the backing of the families of murder victims Morgan Harrington and Alexis Murphy. Republican Delegate Rob Bell says he too has proposed a similar bill, making it mandatory for a college administrator to report an assault.
If they find evidence of a crime, they'll report it to the local police. Doesn't mean necessarily the case will go forward, but at least it'll connect the victim up with law enforcement.
Bell says his bill adds that if the law enforcement is the university police, they have to contact a local prosecutor.
So that nobody thinks that cases that are taking place on college campuses are being treated differently than ones that are being treated down on West Main Street.
And that was Colleen Quigley reporting. Senators and delegates hope to make this a very productive session going forward. Over the next 45 days, lawmakers will consider several bills. And new tonight, the Republican-led House of Representatives voted to overturn President Obama's immigration reform policies earlier today. That executive action was announced in November. WHSV's Kyrie Stewart sees how this could impact immigrants living here in the Valley.
It scares me a lot, not only for my family, because I know that now we're protected, but there's many families who are not.
Kina Lopez was surprised to read about the bill that would undo several immigration reforms set forth by the president. She and her family are immigrants from El Salvador.
It's really a shame because instead of playing politics, they should be helping us. Because I feel like that not only would improve us as our lives, but it would also improve the whole country.
Part of the House's action Wednesday would undo the president's temporary deportation relief to some 4 million illegal immigrants in America. Another would cancel stays of deportation and work permits to hundreds of thousands of immigrants who came to the U.S. illegally as kids. Some Republicans, including Valley Representative Bob Goodlatte, say Obama's reforms are an overreach of power.
These actions flout the United States Constitution. They must be ended because these policies threaten the separation of powers between Congress and the executive branch.
However, Lopez says she's hoping that people understand the situation that thousands of immigrants could face if this change by the House goes forward.
This is about lives. This is about people who want to work, who want to stay here, who want to make a family, who are not trying to do anything bad in here, because that's not what we're doing. We're here for a reason. We're here because we can't go back.
Which is why she's anxiously waiting for what the future holds. In Harrisonburg, Kyrie Stewart, WHSV.
And the bill will now go to the Republican-led Senate. The president has threatened to veto it. And right now, checking in with First Alert Storm Team meteorologist George Hirschman. George, we saw John Rogers in that live shot. He looked pretty chilly outside. It's a cold night out there.
He was improperly attired, that's for sure. I'm sure he was cold. It is very cold, and because of that, you can expect the possibility of a little refreezing of the roadways. The biggest problem tonight. We also had some reports of some patchy fog around the area. Be aware of that. This is the way we started the day. This is from down in Greenville. Karen Brown sent this picture. This from this morning. Had pretty much a dusting throughout the valley, southern valley, northern valley, not anything at all around the area, and it's still out there because we never got above freezing today. So it's we got some frozen stuff and some pretty cold temperatures to keep it around. A couple of echoes we're picking up out to the east. We do have a cloud cover in place. That's going to be with us through the night. We start the morning drive time. Could be a little bit of sunshine, mainly to the north, but as we go through the day, we'll pick up some more sun and some warmer temperatures. 28 degrees. It's been 28 all night long. Temperatures have not changed much tonight at all. We had a trace of snow here at the station. 23 on the dew point. Sunrise will be up. Sun will be up at 7:31 in the morning. Winds pretty much on the calm side, and because of that, there's a chance for a little patchy fog. Had a couple reports of that tonight, so be careful if you're going to be out driving. Temperatures around the areas called in by the weather watchers, well, we're pretty much in the mid and upper 20s throughout the area. 25, the cool number in 10th Legion. Bob said 29 down Stewart's Draft, 27 Stanton Way to the north, 26, 7, 8. Luray at 28, 26 in Stanley, Mount Jackson at 27, 28 Petersburg, and 24 over Franklin Way. And we're going to see those temperatures probably drop another 2 or 3 degrees overnight. Still on the cold side for sure. Thursday, this is the hour by hour, and we're looking at midnight tonight. You can see a little bit of clearing to the north up around Woodstock there, but clouds certainly in place down in Augusta County, and taking it through to your morning drive time around 7 o'clock there. We're starting to pick up a little bit of sunshine, and as we go through the morning, there'll be a few clouds, and then after noontime, we'll see it clearing out pretty good for the rest of the day, and maybe that's where we'll get our warm bump as get those temperatures into the lower 40s tomorrow, and clear skies to the west as well. Taking it into tomorrow night, mostly clear night comes our way, and that's the way we'll head towards Friday to get started. Tonight, looking lower 20s for your overnight lows, upper teens as we look to the west, mostly cloudy. Some patchy fog, a possibility, bigger problem, refreezing of some roadways. I was out between shows tonight, and I can tell you, I could feel the car losing the grip a little bit on some corners out there. It is icy. Be careful if you have to be out and about. So we head into tomorrow, and with temperatures making it into the lower 40s, a little bit of a bump there than what we've been used to, upper 30s to the west, and this is just about where we should be throughout the day tomorrow, or this time of the year, I should say. Partly cloudy day, very seasonable, light south winds, warmer winds, things starting to warm up. Let's look at the next 3 days. We have 3 green bars to work with. That means half decent weather. Lower 40s, around 40, some sunshine Friday, Saturday. Oh yeah, we get the bump there into the 50-degree range. People are going to like that. And as we get to Sunday, well, we're looking for a little bit more of the same. Chance for a shower, maybe even a little wintry mix Sunday night. Keeping an eye on it. Don't expect it to be much at all. Be minor precipitation, then back to seasonal temperatures as we get into next week. All in all, not bad weather for January. We made it through today. Just be careful if you're outside.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. A little bit of a mild change. It's
Absolutely, and we won't be at work. So.
That's right. All right. Thank you, George. Well, coming up, we're tracking another scam in the area. How one man got a call claiming to be his granddaughter. What you need to know before the next phone rings. And next, several Valley schools closed despite light wintry weather we experienced today. Why leaders decided to go with a snow day. But first, local stocks.
Good evening. I'm Michael Gokenauer, Senior Financial Advisor with the Lansing Gokenauer Investment Group of Wells Fargo Advisors. And with the Dow Industrial Average down this evening, here are your stocks of local interest.
Oh no. Wow. It's gonna happen. Floating those chickens. What's that do to us? All right. All right, we do have a breaking news update out of the fire in Shenandoah County. Wholesome Foods near Edinburgh is burning right now. This is a story we first told you about on WHSV.com. Let's go live to WHSV's John Rogers for an update. John, what are you seeing?
Well, Channing, we just learned with the last few minutes the fire here is under control. You can see very little flame right now in the building behind me right here. But again, you can see that large plume of smoke. And firefighters say that you very well could see that on your morning drive if you drive on I-81 through the Edinburgh area. This property goes right up against pretty much to the interstate, so many people saw it as they were driving along the interstate. But again, no injuries to report here from the people in the building. We were told one firefighter did have to go to the hospital. We're not entirely sure of what those injuries were, but we'll of course keep you up to date. Reporting live near Edinburgh, John Rogers, WHSV.
All right, thank you for that update, John. And now checking in with some Valley schools. Today's weather closed some schools in the Valley. One district canceling class, Waynesboro City Schools. This got a lot of attention online. Superintendent Jeffrey Castle says making the choice to keep school open or cancel classes is a tough one, especially when weather conditions change so much. He says safety is his #1 goal, and making the right decision requires a lot of information and acting quickly.
So there's a lot of information gathering takes place within about an hour, because I try to make that decision by 5:30, no later than 6.
And he says that he gets up at about 4:30 in the morning when it's supposed to snow to look at forecasts and contact the Department of Public Works and drive around to judge the conditions for himself. And tracking scams and ripoffs where you live. If you're a grandparent, you want to pay attention. There's another phone scam in the Valley. This one had one area grandparent almost wiring out money. It begins with a call, and although you won't recognize the phone number, the voice might sound too familiar. Enter the dilemma. Millard Osborne was told his granddaughter was in trouble. Drunk driving, a car accident, a broken nose, and then jailed. But bank employees stopped him from becoming a victim.
I got to thinking about how was I hooked on this? Well, it was an emotional hook because this was my granddaughter. And, you know, she was in trouble.
And he says that he's learning from this experience. He understands he should have dug deeper before believing the caller, but is glad his real granddaughter is safe. Well, coming up, we'll look at the rise and fall of one JMU's star basketball players. David de Guzman has why Andre Nation will no longer play for the Dukes. And next, how changes to the upcoming tax season could result in fewer audits but slower refunds. Jane King is working on an explanation.